Well, alright, hello. My name is Joel Isaac Bautista Quiroz.
I'm his sister Lydia. I don't go to this school. I go to San Jose State.
For my final, I am going to talk about my family or my identity and then my family traditions. The thing is, I am half Latinx and half white or European, I guess you'd say, because it's not just one type of white ethnicity. It's about a mixture of them.
Different races.
Different races, or I should say,
No,
we are, because this, like she said, this is my sister. Excuse my stuttering because this is very weird thing to do, but I really wanted to try something different instead of just writing everything. We, because we are half European and half Latin, we don't exactly have traditions that transfer over to either side. We actually don't even have traditions that were passed down. We just have
things that we've created and things that we think come from our culture's background. Like, for instance, many people on my side, the girls, I should say, many of us didn't have quinceañeras, but one of us did, and then I was like, hey, maybe I should do that too, maybe it'll help me understand some of my roots. So I did it, but because we're mixed, so our mixed is our identity. It didn't really feel correct because we're not fully Mexican. We're too brown to be considered like fully white. But we're too white to be considered like real Mexicans, like whenever we go to our mom's side, we feel very
we stand out for sure.
Yeah, we're out of the ordinary. We don't look like them, we don't sound like them. But then when we're on our Mexican side, like, so a lot of them speak Spanish, but we don't really speak Spanish,
We're considered half breeds, and that's something we're okay with. It's actually kind of funny. I always like to say that we're the perfect mixture. Like, when you make your coffee, more often than not, most people, they have the black coffee, but then they put in a little cream, and you kind of get, something that looks like our skin tone, which is fantastic. I like
a
it.
light caramel.
Mocha, if you will. We do tan very well, but we
Yeah,
also
we
get very pale during the winter time when the sun doesn't want to, give us the light.
Our white side comes out in the winter, but other times our tanness is there.
I think it's kind of frustrating, and like the we didn't grow up speaking Spanish, even though like I said, half of us it's very frustrating, to say the least, to not know Spanish when people look at you. Well, for me, it's when people look at me, they think I'm a Middle Eastern or Persian or something of the sort. But when I tell them that I'm Mexican or Latinx, they go, "Oh, so do you know how to speak Spanish?" And then my cheeks get red. They would, but I would say, "No, I don't speak Spanish. My sister doesn't speak Spanish. My other sister doesn't speak Spanish. It wasn't taught to us. No one, even the generation before us, doesn't speak it fluently. They speak Spanglish. I think we might have said this. If not, it's and I wrote it down in my paragraphs. We have no set traditions. That's why we are trying to start our own. We are gathering all our cousins from all the sides as best as we can for our family events to just come together as often as we possibly can, because that is the one thing that we all enjoy, that that has been passed down, is that we have a big family, and we don't know when each and everyone's last day on this earth is going to be, because we have had quite a few deaths in the family in this last decade alone, and that's the one thing that we've all learned, is that doesn't matter the type of tradition, doesn't matter what color skin we are, doesn't matter that even if we took a picture we'd all look like strangers at a bus stop. You know, we do anything and everything we can together for every chance that we get. It sucks, you know, not having a stable position in any type of race, but then again, scientists say that the average human
will be mixed.
will be a mix of you know, more than like
3 races.
more than us, honestly. It's not going to just be like a white and a brown or a yellow and a brown. They're going to have
Mutts everywhere.
we're all just going to be mutts anyways. You know, like eventually we're going to look normal,
Yeah,
you know.
if we don't already today.
And I say we don't look normal now, it's because we kind of grew up in a wider area. And everybody, it's very weird.
Personally, I've met few people like us
Where it's like,
since at the end of my high school.
we don't speak Spanish. We only speak English, but we listen to salsa, samba, all the Mexican music. But we don't listen to country, even though we're very whitewashed.
I don't really know if there's any English music or French music. We don't even we don't know.
Well,
I mean there could be, but
well, technically rock and roll is universal, so
Yeah.
there's that. But it's like, I mean, we listen to that, but it's like when we have our parties, the only thing you're gonna hear from our house is like Mark Anthony or Gloria Estefan
or 80s
or
I heart
you know,
80s.
well, I wouldn't say 80s, just oldies
or
in general.
like lowriders or what's
That's
it called?
that's the one thing we do relate to the most is the
What's it
the
called?
lowrider
It's,
style families.
There's a specific genre that it's called.
Lowrider oldies,
Nah,
oldies with goldies.
no, Mr. O'Shea used to say it all the time. I forgot. Motown. We listen to all Motown, yeah.
Motown is fantastic. I love that.
But it's funny because
That's something we learned
But-
from our parents.
it's funny though because when we go out we can dance to like Latin music. And
more
we
or
can-
less,
I mean, but we're not like the best, but we can do it.
we could hold our own for sure. Like when we go to, if I like
We
when
can
I go,
dance to anything really. It's just
we have rhythm. We just we can't dance with partners yet, and that's something we're probably just gonna have to take classes for.
more or less just the confidence isn't there. I mean, we could do it.
In Spanish too, we're probably just gonna have to take more classes for that too. I'd really like to speak that, but that's another thing that we're going to pass on is we're going to force our children to learn Spanish.
I'm gonna force mine if I ever have any sign language and see if they want to go to bilingual school.
Probably even hopefully marry a woman who knows Spanish so she can teach my kids. This was actually kind of fun to make. It's weird talking to ourselves. Well, actually, my phone is propped up on a beer, so we're talking to a beer.
Or cerveza, if you will.
Or cerveza, because it is a Corona Extra. You know?
Not sure what else to say. I mean,
There isn't much to
we don't really know much about. I mean, we know quite a bit. We know some from our dad's side, but we don't
Yeah, on
know
our dad's
too much about our mom's side.
As our,
They're still figuring out actually as we speak.
we want to take 23andMe, but we learned from our great grandfathers on our Mexican side is that when they were young, actually like around 8, one of them was taken by Pancho Villa because it's either he wasn't really taken, it was more like he came into town, he asked for all the boys that can walk and talk, and he was like, if you don't give them up, I'm going to kill your family. He was a little more nicer than Emiliano Zapata, which our other grandfather rode with when he was around that same age, or started to, because Emiliano, Mr. Zapata, he didn't really ask. He was just, I'm taking the boys. And he was more ruthless. Anybody who got in his way, he killed. Pancho Villa, more or less, gave them a chance to surrender. So we have that in our bloodline. We have the blood of Pancho Villa horsemen and Emiliano Zapata's horsemen.
I mean, the one thing that we do know from our mom's side is that our great grandfather or great I don't know how many grades, but they ran the Goodnight Loving Trail. They took the cattle up. I don't know from where, but they did. But yeah.
Oh yeah, and our great grandfather that ran with Pancho Villa, or rode with Pancho Villa, he and his family started a chocolate factory in North Berkeley and passed it on to their kids.
It was a candy factory, not
candy
just
factory?
chocolate.
Candy factory, and passed it on to their children, my grandma and her brothers and sisters.
Our dad and uncles and stuff, they worked there when they were little.
But after our dad and uncles and my cousins kind of grew up, they got their own jobs, and nobody really wanted to continue the candy factory. So sadly, it was closed down before we were even thought. Which is sad. You know, that would have been a nice tradition to have. But here, you know, the whole point of this is to say that we're starting our own. Here's to the future, basically.
I mean, I'm just gonna throw that out there on my mom's side. Like, my great grandma did go to San Jose State. So her daughters did too. My mom's cousin did, and now I'm going. So I guess that's like a tradition or a family thing that we end up at San Jose State. So
our dad and his brothers went to Pinole Valley High, and that's where we went to high school too. So, but like I said, here's to
our little sister right there too.
And here's to, but like I said, it's this video is basically saying here's to new traditions.
Yeah, we're gonna do what we're gonna do, and hopefully it'll, we can work out.
Pass something down to our kids, basically.
I mean, whatever, it's fun. We're gonna do it.
All right. Thank you.